Joshua, you fascinate me because you are a Pathfinder designer, which is, a highly sought after role, and yet you have so few credits on the Pathfinder wiki. And I'm wondering if it's they don't know about you, or did you just manage to fast track into this position?
Yeah, it was a kind of a crazy story. I got very lucky, and it's one of those combinations of I did a lot of stuff and then I also got very lucky at the same time. As most things tend to be. No single person who gets a design position at Paizo does it the same way. Everyone has their own track to get there. And mine started from the homebrew sector, which is why I don't have many credits. A lot of what I've done to get any amount of renown in the community has been through community work and through homebrew that I made publicly available. For about 2 years, I did a free homebrew that I posted to the community every single day.
Every
And
day.
every day for 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, you can still go back and find some of my work. I was publishing under Improfit at the time. And then after that happened, I started, getting some third party work, and I even did my own Kickstarter, which just finished fulfillment just about a month ago.
Cool. Congratulations. That's
Um,
cool that you're on the design side and the logistics side.
yes. Yeah. And then, a position opened up, and I went through the interviews. I did very well in the design tests. I had a lot of experience, which is not a lot of credits, and I got the job without having any official Paizo credits beforehand.
Oh, so you had no credits beforehand. I noticed it
Nope.
wasn't a lot, but I figured at least
Yeah.
one of them came up.
Nope.
Wow, that's fascinating. What was the reaction internally at Paizo to this new guy coming out of nowhere with all of this instinct for the system, but no technically first party credits?
Yeah, it was I mean, I can't speak for what other people thought, of course, but when I was hired, I was also the youngest one on the team too, at the same time with no formal Paizo experience. But I think they saw a lot of potential in me. And it's been working out really well. I've had a great time working there, and everyone says that I'm doing a good job. So no, it's been a blast. I have a great time. I've made lots of friends with all the other designers there, and it's a wonderful team.
All right, let's take it a step back, though. Let's take it all
Mhm.
the steps back, actually,
All
to
the
the
steps back.
day
Okay.
that you first became a gamer. So, what got you into the hobby?
I did not touch TTRPGs at all until college, actually. Um, I've been playing video games since I was a kid, playing Pokemon on the Guild Game Boy. But TTRPGs is not something I explored. It's actually when I was in college, people were talking about making a world and designing a game, and I thought they were talking about video games at the time. It's like, oh, that sounds interesting.
I
I
have all
want to
these
get in on that.
programmer friends.
Yeah, yeah. And then they were talking about a game where they just make it up in their head, and I was like, that's weird. I was like, but I'll join in. And yeah, it's I played a game. It wasn't D&D, and I cannot find the system to this day, but it was a different system, a much smaller game. And it was a lot of fun. I played like an edgy elf archer or something, like everyone
Nice.
does on their first game.
I
uh,
kind of want to try and figure out what that game was, but
yeah,
outside
yeah,
of
me too.
Pathfinder, I don't know all the games that are out there. So I would ask
Yeah.
you questions. Someone in the chat or someone in the comments would be like, "It's clearly this game, you two
It's
noobs."
clearly this one game. Yeah, it was like a three-class game where you could play like a caster, a fighter, or like a dexterity kind of character. And I played the dexterity kind of character and made them an archer.
Very cool.
Um, yeah, it was a good time. And then I got really into D&D during the pandemic, and then eventually Pathfinder too. I actually moderated for a large the rules team for a large D&D server for quite a long time. Um, and then I got kind of I kind of grew out of 5e in a sense. I did everything you kind of could in that game, and I wanted something new, and I fell into to Pathfinder, and I was like, this is such a great system. And I found Archives and Ethos, and I was like, oh my gosh, this company is actually awesome after they're releasing all this stuff for free. So I that kind of inspired me to make a bunch of free content because at the time Pathfinder was very Pathfinder Second Edition was very new, and there wasn't a lot of homebrew out there at the time. And opposed to like the 5e community I was coming out of, where there's homebrew all over the place. You could find anything you wanted to by looking at it. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna learn this system by homebrewing for it, posting it online, and then getting feedback. And I made a lot of mistakes early on, but I learned a lot. And yeah, if you ever want to get into designing, just start designing and you're gonna mess up and it's gonna be okay.
Well, start designing, and you did the crucial, braver second part of putting it out there and
Yes.
welcoming feedback.
Yeah, I'm very good with feedback. My degree for college is in theater, so at the end of every rehearsal, you get like everyone sit down, time to give 30 minutes of feedback to everybody. Yeah, I actually really like feedback a lot. And it is something that I personally can have learned to uh moderate the feedback I'm getting, especially from the internet. Because there's lots of feedback on the internet. Some of it's really good. Some of it is heartfelt. But if they're giving you feedback, it's because they care about it, and that's what matters. Like they're not, even if it's like not a very nice review. They took the time to read it, and they had an opinion about it, and it made them feel something.
I love that attitude. Now, you're sure you're a theater major and not like a diplomacy major?
Yes, I'm sure.
What was some of your earliest design, and what was some of the feedback that really stood out about it?
So one of the first things I always design whenever I'm learning the homebrew system is I like to make Elsa. Just because I think it's a fun thing to make. So I think at the time it was like an ancestry called like Frozen Heart. And looking back on it, it should have definitely not been an ancestry. It should have been an archetype.
Your flavor's on point. I like Frozen Heart as a name.
Yeah, it was really cool because you could you could lean into the like either like keeping your emotions down, or you could lean into like the expressing the emotions, kind of like I think it's a lot of fun can be had with the flavor of the character of that show, because I don't know, I like Disney shows, and I think that I like ice, and ice is often one of the things that's kind of not as prominent in a lot of games. There wasn't really an ice themed massive character option at the time.
Yeah, it's there's the elements, and then ice is element adjacent to water.
Ice, electricity, and acid often get like thrown to the side in a
So what were some of the things people were saying about the Frozen Heart?
Didn't get a lot of feedback on it because it's my first thing, and people didn't recognize me at the time. But I started getting traction when I did my weapon series. That was I did a specific magic weapon for every weapon in the game that did not have a specific magic weapon.
Wow.
Which as those of you who play know, that there are lots of weapons in Pathfinder, and comparatively a rather small number of specific magic weapons for those weapon types. So I'm talking like we have like there's lots of magical long swords, but there aren't a lot of magical temple swords or spiked whips or chain whips or all the other different kinds of weapons in the game. So I think there was like 300 of those that I did, which got me into the daily rhythm of making something every day. There was a lot of weapons. It might not have been 300. It might have been 100 and something. It's been such a long time since I've done that. But
even if it was 100,
like
100,
yeah,
doing one a day, that's incredible.
yeah. And then after that, I was like, I want to keep making stuff. So I just started doing other things, and it was a good time. I learned a lot. I started going through every like class at a time kind of thing, learning about each of the classes while making like feats for them or like subclass adjacent things for them. It was a great way to learn the game while also, like kind of getting, when you start designing for a game, even for homebrew, if you're there are basically two approaches you can make for it, where you can design something very specific and particular for your own game, but that's not what I was doing. I was making more general content. And when you were doing it like that and you're posting online, it really gets you into the mindset of the designers because you're trying to imitate the style of the original designers of the game, which was what I was attempting to do, which really helped me eventually I get to the position I'm in because I spent 2 years of my life trying to mimic the design philosophy that's already written into the game. Um, and learning and kind of getting into the minds of the original designers, which was
So I'd say there's one
yeah.
of two ways that people approach their first homebrew. One is like you're doing, mimicking
Mhm.
what the published material is like, and then there's the
Yeah.
people who try to fix how the published material is presented. And again, I think you went the right direction because then when you
Yeah.
were actually brought on board, you had an example of being able to
Yeah.
write in the tone of the books.
Yeah, and there is like nothing wrong with changing some of the design decisions for your own personal game. Like that is completely fine. Not the approach that I was going for this. But I fully encourage any kind of homebrew you want to do for your own games. It is 100% fine. If you want to make guns do D12 damage and no reload, go for it. It's your game.
You talked about you have some third-party publishing credits. What was that experience like?
Third party is interesting. Every time you do something with a third party, it's a whole nother game. You kind of have to like it's kind of like it's like freelancing in any kind of community where like you have to kind of get to understand the what the person who's hiring you kind of wants and figure out the formatting, the system, like how they want it done, and it's you building relationships every single time you do it. And some people are super hands off. Other people will give you tons of feedback on everything you turn in and have you do it a second time. It's you just kind of learn how things work with each one, and you got to go with the flow a little bit. But yeah, it was a good time. Didn't do a ton of it. There wasn't a ton of third party Pathfinder stuff to do, but I definitely jumped into a couple of cool projects. I also did a bit of 5e 2e conversions both ways because I was very experienced with both systems.
Like in an official capacity, that was people were hiring you on.
Yep,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah. Can't recall the names of the projects I did because it's 4 years ago. At this point, 3 or 4 years.
Surely you
But yeah,
remember the big one.
uh, my Sinclair's. Oh wait,
Okay.
which big one?
I don't know.
Uh,
Surely one of them stood out to you as this is what I like
yeah.
my big contribution to the third party space.
Uh, Sinclair's was big at the time when it was being released, and I did a bit of writing for that, but I kind of did a lot of the early writing, and then I kind of jumped into writing my own book at that time and getting that all sorted out. The biggest thing that I've worked on would definitely have been my own Kickstarter. Doing your own Kickstarter is a ton of work. And I did it also without a team. It was just me, and it was a trial and not one I intend to ever repeat again.
How'd you handle the art or just the visual of the Kickstarter and product that you delivered?
Yeah. I found an artist that I liked working with who was didn't do any AI work. I definitely confirmed that ahead of time, and they were offering good prices for their work. And I ordered batches of art from them, and it turned out great. Yeah, it was a wonderful relationship. They are I can actually tell you their name.
Please.
Yeah. It was Ink and Tea. Ink the Tea is the name of the illustration company the studio that I worked with. And they were excellent. They always delivered often ahead of schedule, which was
Nice.
wonderful. Yeah, and I only did it in like batches of like 10 to 20 pieces at a time, depending on the sizes of the pieces. And yeah, it was really nice being able to get all my art from a single studio because it made all the art in the book look really like uniform and
Consistent.
that's
Yep.
yeah, really consistent. And it was wonderful. Like they implemented feedback I gave really well when things needed like adjustments, and it was a great time. Highly recommend them.
What was your goal for the Kickstarter? Were you trying to just make a lot of money? Were you trying to get something out
No.
there?
I did. I
Experience?
didn't. I didn't really make any money off the
Okay.
Kickstarter. It was, but it it was a good experience. It was good. It's good credit, a good experience. It shows it's something that I also really wanted to do, to just have a book published. I thought that'd be really cool to do. And it was great because seeing the community that I've built up with the over the years. Because like I only did this book because people kept asking me when I was posting the free homebrew online if I was ever going to publish it into a book. And the book is like an accumulation of my first year of posting the homebrew. And Kickstarter went through a lot of trials because during the time, right after I think about right after the Kickstarter finished is when the remaster happened.
Yeah.
So we did a big Kickstarter vote and we voted to remaster the material. So I went back through all the stuff that's already been written and I remastered all of it for the final book. And now, which is great that I did because everyone's using remaster now. And releasing a book with old Oracle classes would be a little bit hard to implement in your games. But yeah, it was wonderful to see the community like asking you to write a book. Like that's it. It felt like
It's a
something
huge
that was
compliment.
the next step. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You mentioned getting into Pathfinder over the pandemic. Have you made the switch to physical space gaming, or do you primarily play online?
I still primarily play online. Physical, I do a lot of physical space gaming, but that is mostly reserved for board games for me. I'm a big board game player. And I do still do lots of TTRPGs online, but a lot of my friends that play TTRPGs are elsewhere in the world. So the being able to play them online is really a great that is awesome thing that we can do because otherwise we wouldn't be able to play at all. And it's a great way to just stay in touch with friends who are far away. And I still play with some of my oldest friends. It's a great time.
All right. So you said you're the youngest member on the team. You got into
Yeah.
TTRPGs a little bit later. You mostly have online experience. So what perspective does that give you that a lot of the other Paizo staff might not have?
Well, a lot of different media that we can draw from and that we get inspiration from is a bit different. And I'm not the youngest anymore. Like there are younger members on both the Starfinder and Pathfinder team than me now. But at the time, I was definitely the youngest. I think I have a different perspective from where I grew into the space from. Um, like I don't have it's good to have people on the team who have a lot of like first edition to draw from, and other people on the team who don't have a lot of like first edition Pathfinder to draw from because but I'm not like I don't feel the need to keep things the way that they used to be. I don't have any of the habits or expectations that old games might bring with them. So I think I offer a different perspective in that case.
I imagine the
And
flip side
yeah,
is true. Like, what are the older
yeah,
gamers might be like, well,
I
this
learned
goes
so
without
much from all of
saying.
them.
And you're like,
Yeah,
no, it needs to be said. I have no idea what you're talking about.
yeah. It's I think it's really good to have a diversity of different voices and opinions, and I think I add to that, and a lot of other teams add to that, and I learned a lot from them, and hopefully they might learn something from me.
You've shared a lot of opinions about monsters, but now let's just wrap up Monster Month with what's the one thing that people should think about when they are approaching a Pathfinder monster?
Designing or fighting.
Let's say as a GM.
As a GM, if you're approaching a monster, um, yeah. So whenever I'm approaching a monster as GM, I want to know how it fits into the world. And something that we take a lot of care into is making the monsters in the book fit into a lot of different kinds of scenarios, so that you can make a monster fit in the scenario that works best for you. And I like to think a lot about the ecology of where the monster belongs in the world and why they are where they're at. Why is there why is the dragon in this particular cave and not in a castle abandoned? What else is living in a cave with a dragon, and how is it surviving there? Has it formatted some kind of alliance with the dragon? Is it so beneath the care of the dragon it's not worth going? Or maybe it's just doesn't taste good, and the dragon just leaves them alone. There's lots of things to think about with that. I like to approach creature selection from a top-down approach, where think of like what's at the top of the food chain in any given area, and then I work my way down from there, and to kind of see how an area coexists with the other creatures there. Um, that's how I approach monsters from a GM perspective.
All right, I think it's a good time to wrap things up. Where can people find you online? Assume you want to be found.
I have a Blue Sky account that I check about once every 2 weeks. Um, what is my handle? It is in profit.
Can
Dot
you
Blue
spell that?
Sky.
Because
Yeah,
phonetically, there's a few ways that could go.
absolutely. It is IMPROPHET, and that is the dot Blue Sky BSKY Blue Sky stuff at the end of it. But yep, IMPROPHET. I am profit.
What's the story behind that name?
So when I was a wee lad, my stepbrother played a lot of World of Warcraft, and he had lots of different characters and lots of different accounts, but he always began his character names with the same two letters, as so that whenever he swapped servers, people would recognize him. And when he's like, "Hey, do you want to play too?" And he told me this, and he recommended that I do the same thing. So I just said I do the I am at the top of it, and I started playing a cleric as the first one. So I did Prophet as the name, and then I never played any more World of Warcraft. But I had a name for an internet thing, and I just kept using it on all my other things. So in Prophet just kind of stuck.
There is a cartoon where it's like I am Weasel, and that is all I'm remembering from it. And it's IR, is it IR Baboon? I am Weasel. Anyway, you have triggered a memory, and I wasn't sure if it was a reference to that. But it apparently is not. It's a coincidence.
Nope, it's just I put M at the front of things.
Well, this was great to get to know you, Joshua. So thank you again. And of course, people want to find Monster Core 2, they can find it at Paizo.com and their friendly local gaming stores. Thank you for joining me for another installment of No Direction. If you liked what you saw, like the video. If you really liked what you saw, subscribe. And if you really, really liked what you saw, you can go to patreon.com/no direction and support us, financially. Until next time, I'm Ryan Costello, and if you want to find the path, you need no direction.